Hey everybody, today's notes for the day is just going to be a quick review session for the quiz that we will have on Thursday. So we're just going to go over a few kind of test taking strategies that we can go over here. So up first here is just some vocabulary. We're not going to go over that all right now. All of that is in the notes that we have taken so far. So if you're having trouble with any of these definitions, go ahead and go back and check those out. So we do not need to know these by tomorrow because the quiz is not tomorrow. We're going to take Wednesday off. So use that to study anything you might have issues with. Or a lot of us haven't turned in the assignments 1-1 through 1-4. So be sure that you're keeping up with that. Let's see, this quiz is going to be everything we've gone over so far. So dealing with kind of the rational number groupings, absolute value, square roots, and perfect squares, and also some powers of 10. So, let's see, in order to know the vocab, you could make some vocabulary cards with pictures or diagrams, or you can talk about these words with a parent or friend. So just be sure that you can either explain these words or give a good example for each vocabulary word here. So when we are taking any quizzes or tests, it's always really important that we want to read any question for any test a few times to make sure we understand it and what the problem is asking us to accomplish here. So one important strategy is we can underline or circle or highlight keywords in the math problem. A lot of people will try to do this for you on tests and quizzes, and they will caps lock the word if it's really important. So keep an eye out for that too, because they have used one of those strategies for you. So let's get a couple practice ones in here. So underline the keywords in a question before we find the answers. So it's asking us, it wants us to circle all of the following that are letters in the alphabet. So it's asking us to circle all, so that's something important in the directions that we need to follow, making sure that we are circling all of these things, not just one example. And then we want letters in the alphabet. All right, so let's do what it asks. We want to circle all the following that are letters in the alphabet. So A is obviously the first letter in the alphabet that we how we order these letters. 2 is a number, so we're just going to leave that be. Z looks like a letter in the alphabet to me. 13 is a number, so we will let it be. And then finally, we will finish by circling C and S because they are also letters. All right, now here's where they're going to try to throw a curveball at us here, but we won't get caught. So once again, we are circling all of the following in this list that are not numbers, not being the important word there. So we want to be careful that we're looking for little tricks like that. So anything that's not a number. Well, 13 is a number, so we're going to leave it be. The letter B is obviously not a number. -3, we have a number. J is not a number, and the rest look like numbers to me, right? So we are good. We circled all the things that are not numbers in our list. So next we're going to circle the number, circle the number that would be first if the numbers were put in ascending order. So ascending means we're starting from the bottom, smallest thing. So A for ascending means we're starting at the bottom and working our way up. And then descending starts with a D. That means we are starting from the highest and working our way to our lowest. I always like to think of it as descending starts with a D. So you can think down. So going down from the biggest number to the smallest. All right, so we have a couple of decimals here. So this wants us to circle the number that would be first if these numbers were put in ascending order, so smallest to biggest. So we're looking for the smallest number here. Well, 2.9 has a big whole number part out in front of it compared to the other stuff, so it is obviously bigger than the other two. So we know that's not one we would choose. And we know that to figure out which numbers are smallest here, we just need to start at the tenths place and compare those two numbers. The smallest one will be smaller. And if they have the same, then we would move on to the hundredths place and check that. But the 1 in 0.13 is smaller than the 3 in 0.3, so we know that 0.13 is the smallest, so that would be the first if we were to list these numbers in ascending order, growing from smallest to biggest. All right, and remember, we can always draw sketches to help us with things that we aren't able to grasp with just reading words. So sometimes sketching a picture of the problem will help make it easier for us. So doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be fancy. We're just gonna take a look at this problem. Shelly and Jeff made a time capsule and decided to bury it under a tree in Jeff's backyard. So while Shelly was busy digging the hole, Jeff climbed up 35 feet. So I'm gonna draw the ground, and there is a tree. So forgive my horrible artistry. We're not trying to be perfect artists here. We're just trying to get a visual representation of the problem. All right, so looks like Jeff climbed up 35 feet, so he's hanging out in this tree. Hello. While Shelly is digging the hole for the time capsule, and that is 4 feet deep. So this is 4 feet deep, and that is below ground. If we think of ground as the number 0, then below ground would be -4 feet. And Jeff is all the way up here in the tree, and he is 35 feet above the ground. So remember, I'll show you the couple ways we can do this. So we can think of these as distances from 0, right? So we're trying to find the total distance from 0. Well, distance from 0 is just absolute value. We went about that stuff on Monday. So we want to take the absolute values of these numbers and just simply add them together. And because absolute value is distance, and distance is always positive, these numbers are just going to stay positive. So we have 35 plus, well, the absolute value of -4 is 4. And looks like Jeff is 39 feet from his time capsule. Another way we can do this is take the difference of these two things, right? So we can start with either or, but remember it's absolute value, so we want to find the distance after taking the difference. So we can start with 35 feet and then subtracting that -4, right? So when we subtract negatives, we're really just adding positives, which will give us that 39 feet there once again. Whoops, 39 feet. So there was a few test-taking strategies, so remember these for our quiz on Thursday, and make sure to get caught up on any assignments that you have not finished or turned in yet. Thank you very much, and have a good night.